Hey everyone, it's Steve Gruber here from Venture Accelerator Partners. And for today's presentation, I thought I'd talk to you about setting realistic sales goals. This is important both as a sales manager, as the founder of a company, and obviously particularly more relevant if you're small. And I think it's important for both, salespeople, both junior and senior, to understand. I think oftentimes as we do these things, I'd say particularly more in the startup environment, people are whipping around Excel sheets and looking at growth curves and making all kinds of assumptions. And sometimes they forget to step back and say, hey, is this realistic based on the amount of resource I have or I could put forward? So let's take a look at this. So I think you have to think of this as it's more than just revenue. And I think you have to take a look at the life cycle of your sale. You have to take a look at your annual target. So when I say life cycle, I mean from very beginning of prospecting research to very end. What does that look like and how long? Oftentimes, and I address it in a later slide, it's 6 to 18 months. That has to be factored into account. So, and then what you want to do is you want to take the number you're looking for and you want to go backwards from that and see when you break it down, is it realistic? So again, you have an annual revenue target. That's basically fundamentally broken down by, I've got to close enough business. I've got to do a number of proposals then. I've got to do a number of meetings. I've got to do this many calls, to get those meetings, etc. So it has all these concrete steps, right? And each of those steps needs to have their own goal, right? In order to achieve that final revenue goal. So let's just say you've got a revenue goal of $750,000 for the year. And let's make a couple assumptions. So your average sales were 25 grand. Your current recurring revenue is 250 grand. So you need to close 500 grand to meet your number. So that way, if you took the 500 divided by 25, you get 20. So you need 20 new clients to do that. And then let's make some assumptions around, outbound activities to meetings. So for every 50 outbound activities, that'll book you one qualified meeting. Then you have a decent closing ratio, from qualified meetings to proposals. Then you have 50%. Then you have another decent closing ratio of proposals to wins of 50%. So therefore, you would need to do 100 outbounds for 2 qualified meetings to do one proposal. So then if you want to close one of those proposals or one proposal, you need to do 200 outbounds to get 2 proposals to close one. So for 20 new clients, then how many outbounds do we have to do? And the number's bigger than you think. 4,000 outbound activities if those are your ratios. It's more, that's why I said it's a lot. It's more than you think. And then what you have to do is you got to take into account how long is your sales cycle. I had mentioned 6 to 18 months. I very rarely have ever seen a B2B sales cycle of any, where it's a fair sized product in this sort of dollar value range take less time. And then you have to take into account how much resource do you have? How many salespeople do you have? How many hours can they work per year? Get all these activities done. Then you step back and say, well, is that a realistic target? Right? And in some cases it might be, depending on the horsepower you have. In some cases it might not be. Given your own experience, even selling your own product. So I think the other piece that you have to consider here too is retention matters. So when you have your annual forecasting, your annual sales target, there's going to be a certain percentage that's made up of current clients. And that's awesome. That also helps you get to your goal faster. And you don't want them to churn or leave, so you want to make sure you take care of them. Your retention should be a big part of your success. So in summary, because I'm almost out of time, you make sure you work backwards through your sales target using conversion ratios to understand if your sales target for this next year is realistic. Good luck with your sales efforts and take care. Bye-bye.